Hello, and welcome to Squabble, a noisy quarrel about something petty or trivial. I'm Carter.
And I'm Jacob.
And this is like another episode of Mini. Episode 6 maybe, or 5, or
I don't know. Can't remember.
We're in there. We're almost to double digits. A few things. First of all, we have hit 100 subscribers on iTunes.
I'm clapping. I don't know if you can hear it.
Yeah, 100 subscribers. We have over 100 now, like 116 or something like that.
Yes,
but 100, we hit 100. That's a small milestone, yet a very. We're proud. I'm proud of it.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty proud.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't think we'd make it this far this quickly.
Yeah, we're proud. Let's see. What are we doing today, Jacob?
We're gonna be ranking some movies from a particular company.
Yes,
some very popular animated movies, probably some of the best animated movies. Thanks for calling me out on that. Some of the most popular movies, Pixar.
Whoa, I said that in the same thing.
I felt it coming.
Yeah, we're going to be ranking all 19 Pixar movies. If you don't know what Pixar is,
what are you doing?
How are you living under a rock?
How are you on the internet and not know what those are?
Pixar is Disney's. I guess it's an animation studio.
Yeah,
that is
they're
owned by Disney.
There you go.
They have 19 movies. They do things like The Incredibles, Cars, The Good Dinosaur, Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, Monsters Inc., all that jazz.
Yeah, there's 19 of them.
Do we want to list them so everybody knows? What
I think I've got a list right here.
Okay.
Already open. Let's go. Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille, WALL-E, Up, Toy Story 2. Nope, sorry, Toy Story 3.
They had
Cars
Toy
2.
Story 2 twice.
Brave, Monsters University, Inside Out, The Good Dinosaur, Finding Dory, Cars 3, and Coco.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Indeed.
It's not that many, actually. It's 19, I believe.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. So we're going to rank these and tell you guys which ones are the best. Or, we disagree on some of these. I already
think so.
know. So that's what we're going to be squabbling about. I think we're starting from the bottom. What is our least favorite Pixar movie?
Yes.
So you want to go first?
I'll go first. Okay. Cars 2. This is a pretty obvious one. Everyone knows this one.
Yeah, Cars 2 is a pretty hardcore flop. But that's not what I picked.
What was yours?
My bottom one is, hate me for saying it, but Monsters University.
I know. I know everybody hated Monsters University, but I didn't actually think it was that bad. You can hate me now.
I put some notes here. In my opinion, first of all, it was just a money grab, I feel like. That's what I felt like when I watched it.
But so was Cars 2.
Definitely. But like Monsters Inc., first of all, was one of the best ones, I think.
I
and
agree.
then they went and they made Monsters University, which had so much hype and everybody loved the characters, and they just kind of, it was just
it was
bad. I don't know.
It was just kind of meh.
And it's inconsistent with Monsters Inc.
Okay, yeah, there's that one line. He says, Mike says, "You've been jealous of my looks since the 3rd grade." And then in this movie, it says that they met in college.
Yeah, so did they meet in college or at the 3rd grade?
But it was just a joke Mike made. That's not like set in stone.
I guess. And and it was really uncalled for. That's what I put. I wish I would have, while I watched it, I was kind of wishing that I would have seen, instead of like building upon the world that they made, they just kind of, I don't know, they started somewhere that I would have liked to see, I don't know, how Monsters Inc. was founded, Sully's first day on the job, something like that. But instead they went
they'll save that for the 3rd one.
I guess, but they went all the way back to college, which nobody really asked for.
Yeah, but I just think Cars 2 was so bad. There was no redeeming qualities. At least Monsters U, you can say it had heart. It felt like a Pixar movie, and it was funny. Cars 2, it wasn't funny. Nobody likes Mater. It was a spy movie. It was like some James Bond spoof.
I disagree. Well, okay, I agree that it's terrible. It is terrible. In fact, I think I wrote it down on here. On Rotten Tomatoes, it was the only Pixar movie to be certified rotten.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's a terrible movie.
Yeah.
But they tried something different.
Okay, yeah, I can respect Cars
And I
2.
respect that they tried something different, you know? They went a complete opposite direction of Cars 1, which respectable, but it just didn't work out. It was terrible. It was just awful.
Okay, you want to go to number 18?
Yeah, number 18, which I put Cars 2. So we've already kind of discussed that. Cars 2 is my number 18.
My number 18 is The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, that one.
The only thing that this movie had going for it was its animation. It was really great animation, which Pixar is kind of known for, but it was amazing. But other than that, it was just characters were bland. It was just it was a boring plot. It didn't make me. There was one sad moment. I feel like every Pixar movie needs to have a really heartfelt moment, and this one was like, okay, there was one, and the rest of the movie was just kind of meh.
It was weird.
It was weird. It didn't feel like a Pixar movie at all.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I agree. It's just super weird. And I did not like how they switched the roles of human and animal. And it was weird. It kind of made me uncomfortable. Like, what are they what's the message they're sending out there? Making the humans the animals and the animals smarter and more sophisticated than the humans.
Okay,
what are they trying to say?
You said your 18 was Cars 2, right? We already discussed that.
Yeah, my 18 is Cars 2. So
okay, I guess is that what they have to say about Good Dinosaur? It was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just end with that.
Number 17.
Okay, number 17. I put Finding Dory.
I also put Finding Dory. Number 17.
Yeah. Finding Dory was just. I mean, it wasn't. I'll say like my bottom two. I'd say those were bad movies. But Finding Dory, I didn't say it was a bad movie, but it just wasn't good.
I'm kind of on the fence. I kind of agree, or I'm kind of on the same page I was about Monsters University on how it was kind of a money grab. Like, did we really need to know more about this story, side character?
It kind of had a Cars 2. The reason everybody liked Mater until they made Cars 2. Now everybody hates Mater.
A side character. Side characters have certain qualities, and they're likable because they're side characters.
Yeah.
You know, if the whole movie was about Tow Mater, it wouldn't. It's too much comedy, you know. He's a comic relief.
Yeah, and
so is Dory.
It was rough.
But they made Dory that main character, and I don't think she couldn't carry her own movie.
No,
you know?
Definitely not. And then the whole thing about like her at the end, the whole ending sequence when they drove the car, that was so outlandish. I hated that. The whole movie was just kind of like Pixar always does a really good job in their movies of getting an outlandish idea and still making it relatable and seem like real. But Finding Dory was not like that. It was like, okay, why am I watching these fish like live in an aquarium? They're like trying to escape ? Except like, I don't know. It was just
it was. I mean,
I guess that's like exactly
it was okay.
what Finding
I'm not
Nemo
going to say it
was
the worst. Obviously, I didn't say it was the worst, but I don't know. They could have done something better. You know?
I agree.
They could have done something better.
Okay, number 16. You go first.
Yeah, for number 16, I put The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, I put Brave.
Brave.
Yeah,
I think we're very similar to these bottom ones.
Yeah,
because I put number 15 as Brave.
Yeah.
But I put the.
And my 15 was Monsters University, so we've already talked about that one. So we've pretty much talked about the bottom five.
Brave, really, for number 15?
Brave.
Below The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, I don't know. Brave. It's above Good Dinosaur. It's below.
Okay, we both agree that it's better
below
than
Monsters
The Good
U.
Dinosaur.
I put Monsters. You put Monsters U at the very bottom. I put it at the top of the bottom five.
You think Monsters U is better than Brave?
Yeah, Brave was. It was so it'd been done. You know, Brave was like, okay, it's been done. Like I said, everybody hated Monsters U, but I enjoyed it. I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe that's why. And I'm kind of biased because I love Monsters Inc. But Brave was like, tell me one good thing about Brave. I'm like,
well, I mean, I put Brave on the bottom too.
Yeah.
I also put it very low. But I thought,
I mean, it was funny, but it didn't.
I thought it was a good idea. It's a good story. I think it was a good story. Yeah, I just think it was really basic. It was a really basic story, and all the humor. It's not like any other Pixar movie. It's pure slapstick.
Yeah, it
humor.
felt like DreamWorks, like fart jokes and like Shrek.
It did, and like there was that butt scene, which don't
was
get
funny.
me wrong, it's funny. It is.
Butts are funny.
It's different from a Pixar movie, which isn't bad. You know, different is good sometimes, but it's just. I don't know.
And I feel like it also had such potential to be like an Irish like folklore like epic tale, and it was just kind of like, okay, this lady gets turned into a bear, and there's like another bear that's evil.
It was a really cool world. I have to admit, I really like that theme. It was really interesting. I like that time period and the magic stuff. It's really cool. But what I didn't know, I did some research on all the movies, and I didn't know that Pixar was apparently, when this
I
came
read
out,
this too.
it was being like hardcore criticized.
No, not this movie. Before this movie came out.
Yeah, before the movie came out, it was being hardcore criticized for not having any female main
In any
characters
movie so
in
far?
any of their Pixar
Which
movies.
is understandable.
Which, I mean, come on. Pixar can do whatever they want. There's their own anyway, they did come out with Brave, and they made the main character a female purely for that reason.
And I think they tried too hard.
I think they tried too hard. I did.
Mm-hmm. It just became kind of basic.
It was basic, yeah. So that's what I think.
Okay, so that's the bottom 5, I think. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. Yeah, that's the bottom 5.
So what'd you put for number 14?
Number 14, I put Inside Out.
Really?
Yeah.
I put Toy Story 2.
Toy Story 2 is so good. How'd you put that as only number 2? Or as number 14?
I don't know. I really liked it,
So
but
you just
I
put it
just
there just
couldn't
'cause?
put it above the other ones. That's,
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Toy Story 1 was really good, and Toy Story 2 is good too. It's good too. How many times can I say 2? But I just thought, I don't know. The first Toy Story was better, I think. And here's my thing when it comes to sequels. It either has to be better or as good as the first one for it to make a list for me.
I'll save my thoughts for when I bring it up, because that's a lot higher than that.
But did you know that it was originally only going to be DVD?
Yeah, I did know that.
DVD
I read about
exclusive.
that. And there's lots of panic going into the making of that. We'll talk about it. I'll talk about it when I get to it. But Inside Out, let's talk about Inside Out a little bit. I know you can save some of your thoughts, because I'm sure you put that higher.
That was a very popular movie.
Yeah, everybody loved it, and I just thought it was all over the place. I thought it was crowded. I thought the plot was kind of everywhere. I thought it was kind of rushed. It was just all I never really related with any of the characters or any of the people in it. That's one thing.
I can agree with
which is
that.
funny, because that's one thing a lot of people said. They said it was super relatable. But for me, I don't know. I'm not a preteen girl. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But I just didn't relate to it at all. And I was just like, okay, none of the characters were fun. I mean, it was kind of funny. Actually, I will say this. The characters that were fun, that I liked, were in it for a very, very little amount of time. I liked fear, I liked anger, and I liked disgust. And they were like the 3 that they didn't even use. So
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's understandable, but that one's pretty high on my list.
Okay,
so I guess we'll get to that.
We can move to 13, I guess.
Yeah, 13.
Oh, A Bug's Life.
Did you put 13 A Bug's Life?
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
I can't believe you put Toy Story 2 below that, though.
Yeah, I put Toy Story 2 below Bug's Life. Don't at
That's
me.
okay. I put Inside Out below A Bug's Life.
A Bug's Life, apparently that movie, everyone hated that movie.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid watching that movie, I loved it. And it just, I guess it brings back nostalgia.
Yeah, I guess. I really liked the grasshopper guy. I think he was one of the best parts of the movie, the villain. The whole story was actually pretty good.
I thought the villain was real basic.
Really? He was
Yeah.
he was so scary. He was like
What I put down was that my negatives for it was it was a really childish movie. A lot of Pixar's movies, they're really they're good for children. Obviously, they're centered towards children, but they have a lot of mature themes in them that
yeah, that's what Pixar's known for,
adults
though,
can
yeah.
enjoy, and like jokes that are just that
A little
kids
more clever,
can
you
get. Yeah, they're more clever. And that's the good thing about Pixar. But The Bug's Life is just real basic.
I liked
in my
it. It was
opinion.
just, it was really
childish.
Yeah, it was just such a classic. It was like, okay, I enjoy it, but I don't need to watch it like once a year.
Can we acknowledge though the Ladybug character? I still to this day don't know if it's a woman or a man character.
Maybe it's both.
I would guess. It's weird. They were ahead of the times apparently.
Okay, yeah. Number 12. I've got a controversial number 12.
A
Dude.
crunchy-versial?
Controversial.
I got a crunchy-versial number 12. That sounds something bad.
Okay, well, what's your number 12? Because mine's going to be shocking. Don't look at it.
Number 12, Cars. Cars 1.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable. I like Cars more than most people. I enjoy it.
I like it. I mean, it's 12, so it's up there, higher than my bottom tier.
Almost top 10.
What did you put as number 12?
I put Toy Story.
What? You were just getting on to me for putting Toy Story 2 so low.
Okay,
You put
well,
Toy
let me
Story
say,
at
Toy
number
Story
12?
2 is better than Toy Story, in my opinion. That's actually a pretty popular opinion from what I've discovered. But let me say, Toy Story, this is what I have to say. I got to think about it. Okay, so Toy Story it's a good movie, but it's boring. That's what I say. I say the same thing about the Star Wars movies. I say, I really like Star Wars, except when people say they don't like it, I understand it because I know that, yes, Star Wars is great, but it's boring. That's how I feel about Toy Story. I was watching clips of it last week in preparation for this episode, and I was like, man, this is kind of boring. Like, it's a really classic, and it's really good. It's like a really good, like, technically, it's a really good, like,
technically, it's a good movie.
Like, it follows all the rules of good movie and stuff, but it's not super entertaining. I mean, it's funny. The characters are likable. It's got a good plot.
I definitely see what you're coming from. There's no, I guess it's not an action movie, I guess, and there's not a lot of, interesting.
I mean, it's
twists.
really heartfelt. I don't know. It was just kind of like I found myself putting other movies above it. Like I put Cars above it.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with that. I put Toy Story real high at number 3.
Wow.
That was my
let's
top
not
3.
get up to it.
So I'll talk about it when I get up there.
We'll get to number 11 then.
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo that low, number 11.
Yeah.
I did Cars.
Really?
Yeah, Cars. It was like a fish out of the water story. It was really enjoyable. It was such a classic like that, and it was really nostalgic. It was like a classic. Like it reminded me of we used to go to our whenever we visit our like family, kind of like extended family, we'd go to like some small towns and stuff, and it kind of it kind of reminds me of that. It just makes you feel like you're at home.
Yeah, I mean, I love Cars. It was a good movie.
So why'd you put Finding Nemo not even in top 10?
I don't know, dude. It's just I went with my gut feeling.
Okay, I understand.
And I mean, I switched them around a lot. I really did. And I have some unpopular opinions when it comes to my top 10.
I know. I can feel it.
And now that I'm looking at my list,
you're regretting it.
I'm not regretting it, but I am. Well, okay, maybe I'm doubting myself a little bit, my own opinions, and I'm also. I'm going to be a little hypocritical as I go into my top 10 of what I've said previously.
Okay. I'm ready.
But what were we on? Number 11?
Finding Nemo? 12. Yeah, we're on number 11.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I love Finding Nemo. It's great.
Yeah.
I think once we hit 11, I think they're all great.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All of the ones higher than this are like really good.
They're really good movies. Finding Nemo is a
really
great
all of them
movie.
from like 14 and up were like really good.
This is a hard Pixar thing to do. It's like rating your favorite ice creams. They're
or your
all
favorite, your favorite like
Rocky Road's your least
or your
favorite.
favorite like siblings, which is easy for most people actually. Yeah,
but yeah, Nemo, great fatherly figure in there. It's got a good
it's got
message.
A good story. Yeah,
it's a good message. What else did I put down? The characters are great.
Dory
I agree. Is hilarious, even though they made
she can't carry her own movie.
A full movie about Dory. That was a mistake in my opinion.
And like the
Dory
tank gang, is that what they're
great.
called? The tank gang? When Nemo goes to the dentist?
Oh, the sharks? Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about, what is it, Bruce?
Oh, those are good. The fish are friends, not food.
Fish are friends, not food.
Oh,
Where were they from? Australia?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they go to Sydney.
I also made a little note that it's Pixar's version of Taken. I saw that on a meme somewhere.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Are we on number 10? Top 10, guys.
Yeah, this is where I become a little controversial to what I have previously said.
Okay, here we go.
You can go first.
Top 10. Cars 3.
Me too.
You put Cars 3 too?
Yeah.
Cars 3 is good. It's like Rocky. This is Pixar's Rocky.
You're right. It is kind of like that. It's good.
Or like Rocky 4.
It was so redeemable to Cars 2.
Oh yeah.
Like they realized their mistakes in Cars 2 and they came out with Cars 3 and just
it was so
knocked it out.
It was
of the
so
park.
inspiring. It was like
it really was.
It was like Lightning McQueen's coming back. He's old,
but he couldn't quite beat the newer, more sophisticated technology.
And he learns that
he
it's
accepts
okay.
that. And he understands that technology is excelling and it's just so good.
It's such a good movie about if you work hard, you can succeed.
Yep. We work hard, you succeed.
Cars, do you have any more notes about that one?
No. I did put my negative side that it did feel a little bit like Cars 1.
Yeah, I will say.
But I think that's a good thing because of what they did with Cars 2. They flopped so hard with Cars 2 that they kind of had to take a couple steps backwards into the Cars 1 zone and release something that they knew was going to be better, to reboot the series, I guess.
Yeah, but what did I add something? The thing about Cars 3 is I didn't actually like any of the new characters. Like
really?
Jackson Storm, he was okay.
I liked him. He was like...
I mean, he was kind of
the
funny,
cocky,
I guess,
look, I'm all about technology kind of guy.
Yeah, and then there was like...
It was a classic
his training lady that helped him train. She was okay, but she kind of annoyed me at some points, I gotta be honest. She was like,
I can see
she's
that.
like one of those characters that kind of like, they make them so perfect and so likable that they become unlikable, you know? That's kind of how she was. It was like, okay, you're just kind of whatever, you know? It's like,
I think Cars 3 is better than Cars 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. I actually, yeah, I agree. I put it higher just by one. And I did switch those back and forth. I couldn't decide. Okay, number 9.
Number 9.
Toy Story 3.
Me too, dude.
We're in sync for these last two.
Yeah. Toy Story 3 was just a solid movie. It was an overall good story.
Yeah, I really I put it higher than Toy Story, original Toy Story.
It had a good bad guy.
Yeah,
a good bad guy, in my opinion, is somebody who you feel bad for and you relate to the bad guy,
and
but
you
understand that he's bad.
He was like a little extra sinister for like a Toy Story movie, like for a toy, for a pink bear.
I think that's funny. It's like, that's really ironic that the teddy bear, first of all, he's a teddy bear. Second of all, he's a toy, but he's also this villain trapping people inside this daycare.
It's just funny. Like the second season of The Walking Dead. Just think about it. But what else was I going to say?
Isn't there a theory that The Walking Dead?
Yeah,
is
the
same
first
as
season
Toy Story?
follows this first. The first season of The Walking Dead follows the first story. The second one's like the second, and then the third is like.
And like Rick Grimes is
Woody. Yeah.
Who's Buzz?
I don't know. I think it.
I guess it would be
Daryl.
No. The his friend
Morgan.
No, his friend that he killed.
Shane.
Yeah. Sorry, spoilers for season 1.
It is Shane. I remember this.
Yeah, now. Because they fight. Through the whole
under
thing.
the bus, under the car.
Yeah, and
yeah,
you should go look that up on YouTube.
Yeah, it's really funny.
It's a funny theory.
I don't even think it's YouTube. I think it's just a meme.
I've seen some YouTubers explain it.
It's one of the few Pixar movies where I've actually been worried that they're going to kill a character off. It was one of the saddest moments in film whenever they're all in the trash compactor and they're going down into the fire. I'm getting the chills just thinking about it. They're holding hands and they're about to go into the fire.
It really is good.
And then they get craned up by the green guys. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, spoiler warning for all these Pixar movies.
Okay, look, they're all they've been out for way too long.
Well,
the only ones that I would accept, we won't spoil
Coco and Finding Dory, maybe.
No, we'll spoil Finding Dory.
Cars 3, we already have.
The only one we will not spoil is Coco and Incredibles 2, which hasn't even come out yet.
Okay, so you ready to go on to number 8?
Yeah, go on to number 8.
Number 8, speaking of Coco, my number 8 is Coco.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, so my number 8 is Inside Out, which you put way down.
I put it
lower.
I put it as number 14.
That is, I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know if I can agree with that. That's
how
would you put it so low? It was so relatable. I don't know how you said it wasn't.
What, Inside Out? Really?
Yes.
I know everybody says it is. And I didn't. I was kind of bored.
Every emotion that you have the ability to feel was portrayed in that movie.
It's true.
And boom, like they nailed it. And
I see you put a unique idea.
I did put it on my notes. It was such a unique idea. Who thought of that? Emotions inside, like the emotions have emotions. It's emotionception, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean yeah. Don't get me wrong, it was a good movie. It was just I couldn't see myself putting it above all these other ones.
And Bing Bong?
Bing Bong? Really? I hated Bing Bong.
What?
He was annoying too.
Spoilers, he dies. It's sad.
Yeah.
Is this the only movie that Pixar kills off a character? I think so.
No, Ellie, dude.
Ellie?
Carl's husband.
Oh.
That was the saddest.
Okay.
That was super sad.
That's pretty sad.
Okay. We won't talk about it for too long. Okay, so yeah, I put Coco for 8. I really liked Coco. It was really fresh. It felt like a Pixar movie. You know, it was.
I'll go ahead and let you know what my 7 is, which is Coco.
Okay.
So we can argue about this a little bit because I put Coco as 7.
Okay.
Continue what you said.
Yeah, but what I was saying is like, it really felt like a Pixar movie. Like after like the past, I don't know what came before Coco. Let me look real quick. I have the list. After Cars or after Finding Dory and like The Good Dinosaur and Inside Out, all of those to me, they never really felt like Pixar movies. So having this, having Coco come and like really just. It really good. Just invigorated the Pixar universe.
It had a really strong family element, which is good. Not that it was
That's
like
a popular
directed
element
towards
in
family, but like it brought family together. It was
and about
really
forgiveness.
And how families, they need to like watch each other's back.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was really good. And the songs,
the songs were they were jamming, dude.
Yeah, really
it was
nice.
Like
Despacito. If like Pixar doesn't usually make the musical type movies, like
although the soundtracks are usually pretty great.
They do have good soundtracks, but this one was really musically centered. It was good.
Yeah.
And
but it wasn't like a musical.
Yeah, and I'm not Hispanic or anything, but I have studied a lot of art, and their Mexican art culture when he goes into the I guess the underworld.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember what it's called.
It's really accurate, and it's really good. The sugar skulls and that theme of Mexican art, it's awesome. It's really it looks really cool. The colors really great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really nice world that they built in the movie, and the animation.
It was clever. It was like whenever the skeletons
animation's really good.
Okay, what is after
going on to number 6, or what's your 7?
No, we're number 7. Yeah, I did
my
Ratatouille.
7 was Coco. Ratatouille.
Yeah,
we're really close on these top 5.
Is your 6 Ratatouille?
Ratatouille is number 6. Yeah. Mine were just.
I really liked Ratatouille. It was really good. It was a really it was really unique way of telling a story, because it was like it wasn't like, okay, you've got the good guys and the bad guys. It was like, well, here's this rat going on an adventure and helping two people that shouldn't go together, a cook and a rat, and sticking them together and pushing them into a 5-star restaurant.
I kind of wrote down, I kind of made a point about the same thing. It didn't really have a villain, but it did have a villain in the fact that the villain wasn't was a food critic. You know, that was their...
Well, the head chef kind of guy was kind of a bad guy. He was after.
Okay, sure, but he was just trying to protect his kitchen from rats.
I'll give it to him.
But
he was a little crazy.
The main, I guess, antagonist was not necessarily the food critic, but the fact that they needed to keep their restaurant alive.
Yeah,
it
was kind of scary. It was intense. You know,
it was, and it's a really artistic movie. I wrote that down too.
Yeah, it was really. I love like the French. I love it being in like France and Paris, and like the French feel and the music. And,
the
it's
high. Nice.
It's very classy.
Yeah, and I put that it also had a really good message. Yeah, I put down
anyone can cook.
Yeah,
well, sure. Essentially, yeah.
I just put that don't doubt anybody because of their appearance or experience, etc. You know, he was a rat, but he was the best cook in France.
And
France?
He
was the best cook in France.
He was the best cook in all of France. Let me tell you.
Franch, French.
Not to mention that we all learned you can control people by pulling on their hair.
Yep. Apparently your hair is connected to your nerves.
Yeah. Okay. What's that? Number 6? Is that what we're up to? No, you just did number 6.
Yeah, my 6 was Ratatouille.
Well, let me tell you my 6.
Is...
Up.
Really?
Well, I don't know how we've gotten one off, but let's just talk about Up and not tell your 5 yet, and then we can catch back up. I liked Up. I thought it was... it is kind of low, but this is the one that I had the most struggle with. I think Up was really good in the the first half, and then the second half it was kind of like, okay, we're back to another Pixar movie, you know, not one of like these amazing ones. It was just like, okay, we're back, we've landed. We were way up here for the first half. We were way up here, then we were just kind of like eased back down into the second half.
I think was one of the best Pixar movies they made.
Yeah, I mean, it's number 6. They're all so good. It's hard,
dude. Up is emotional. It's touching. It's ironic. I put that down. It has a great message.
Okay, we'll talk about your more points. So you want to go to 5 so we can kind of catch up. I don't want to get out of whack again. Number 5. What's your number 5?
Monsters Inc.
I'm triggered. My number 5 is Finding Nemo.
Okay, that's respectable. I put mine pretty low, and I could definitely be swayed to
Finding Nemo was
higher.
such a good movie. It had such a good message. It had such good characters. It did
have really good characters.
I know, like you could really feel for Marlin. I really liked Marlin. He's one of my favorite Pixar characters. And the story was good. It was unique. It was like, it was like a good father-son kind of, you know, going through life. It was like it was like what Brave could have been, you know?
I agree.
With the mother-daughter, father-son, it was almost like, it was like a better version of Brave.
Finding Nemo is good because there's so many characters. Like there's so many characters, but I felt like first of all, they did a really good job balancing how the characters, how much screen time each character got, but also I could personally relate to each character.
Yeah.
Like when he went into the fish dome inside the dentistry office, every fish inside the fish tank, I had a personal connection to. Even Bubbles, you know, every time Bubbles came out, she was like, Bubbles, 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 Bubbles.
Or the little shrimp guy that just cleaned everything up.
Yep, the starfish. They each had a unique personality, and that's really cool. That's a successful character building.
Okay, so you put Monsters Inc. What'd you got?
Yeah, I put Monsters Inc. I know. I bet I haven't looked at your list, but I bet yours is your number one is Monsters Inc. And I just disagree with that. That is not the best Pixar movie.
It so is though.
Although Monsters Inc. is great. Don't get me wrong. Monsters Inc. has the best dynamic duo.
It's of all time, yeah. Name a better duo. I'll wait.
I mean, some would argue that Woody and Buzz are Pixar's best dynamic duo, but Sully and Mike, they're complete and utter polar opposites in personality. Sully's like the laid back kind of guy, while Mike is like always following the rules, except when it comes to turning in his paperwork. But they work so well together.
I know,
it's hilarious.
It's like they really are. They're the greatest. Mike Wazowski is probably one of my favorite characters of all film.
Yeah, and the great thing about that is not only do they interact with each other really well, but their individual characters are really well. Like Mike has an amazing character development through the whole thing, and because in the end he feels for Boo. And
Boo.
He becomes a scarer himself, except
he's a laugher.
Is that what they're called? Laughers?
I don't know if that's what they're called, but it is now.
It's good.
I see one of your points. You mind if I point it out?
Yeah, sure.
The water news ends up being bad. That was he's a great villain.
Yep, I put down it has a good plot.
I know.
Really
You
good
go
plot.
through this whole movie believing that he's looking out for him and that children are truly bad and there's some reason for it, and then you learn, oh no, he's just saying that so people will respect him more.
I did not expect Water News to be the bad guy. Yeah. And then Roz working for the monster FBI.
Mm-hmm. So you said you're only saying good things about this movie. I don't know how you.
I'm only saying good things, but
you just think it wasn't quite as good as all the other ones.
Exactly. Okay. When it hits the top 5, especially when it hits the top 5, there's no bad things about any of them. There's just better things than the rest.
Yeah, it's true. This is true. Okay, you get to number 4.
Up.
I put Toy Story 2.
Okay.
I really like Toy Story 2, and it's such a sad moment when Jessie and her doll in that little montage, or not Jessie and her doll, Jessie and her owner.
Yes.
And it really relates to like how you feel when you grow up, and you leave your toys behind.
It is. It does hit home. I understand that.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny too. I actually think it's better than both the other Toy Stories. I'd like to go back to Toy Story 3 real quick. I'm very disappointed that they're making a Toy Story 4 because Toy Story 3 was like the perfect ending to the series.
It did have a really good ending. It was
such a good ending. It was like there he goes off to college, he leaves, and he's leaving his childhood behind. It was like,
But they kind of have to stick with their pattern. If you didn't know, Pixar always, what's the pattern? It's original, sequel, original sequel, something like that.
Know. Yeah.
They come out with the original movie, they come out with another original, and then a sequel, and then they repeat that pattern. It's something like that. So they have to come out with a sequel eventually.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm kind of sad about it. Anyway, so we were on number 4, right?
I put Up. I can't believe you put yours so low. Where'd you put Up? Oh, you didn't put Up. It's number 6.
Number 6, yeah.
It should be number 4, dude.
What did I put number 4? Toy Story 2. I could switch those. I could see it.
Yeah, Up is so emotionally powerful.
It is,
and there's so much redemption for the main character. I made that a point. And irony is a huge theme, which I love. I love that in a movie. Like, if for example, when Carl, the old man, tells Russell, the little Boy Scouts kid, to go find the snipe, that's living in his yard, and Russell spends a whole long time finding it, and he actually finds a snipe. Like he finds the most rarest animal in the whole world that Carl didn't even know was real. And then you see that Carl in the very beginning, he's a kid and he follows all the rules, but he meets his soon-to-be wife who helps him become adventurous, and he changes his mind on the world. So Carl's not adventurous, but then becomes adventurous. But then his wife dies, which saddest thing has ever happened in the movie industry.
Yeah, I think that's probably the second best intro to any movie ever.
Yeah,
I think the first is another Pixar movie, which I'll talk about again.
And so she dies, and he reverts back to him not being adventurous, and he's just an old man. And then he meets Russell, and he becomes adventurous again. And so there's this irony. It's so,
and it's another strong family figure movie.
It is, because Russell, his dad didn't come to his at the very end of
yeah,
the movie.
that's really
as
sad.
it's wrapping up, his dad didn't come to his
And that one scene
initiation
where
he
he's
gets the
talking
badge.
about putting up the tent or whatever, and he's like talking about how he doesn't get to see his dad. Then he says something about his owner's name or whatever, his caretaker's name, and he's like, why do you call your mom by her first name? And he's like, she's not my mom. And he like realizes, he's like, oh, he doesn't have a family.
Yeah, and so Carl becomes that father figure to Russell, and it's so touching. I'm getting goosebumps right now.
I was getting
talking
goosebumps
about
when I was thinking about the toys going into the fire. It's so sad. That's a sad moment. I don't know why you're laughing.
I don't know. It's just that's funny.
Okay, number 3. This is top 3.
Top 3 right here. What you can go first.
I put WALL-E, although I would like to say, I'm just gonna not hedge, but I'm just going to point out something. I honestly think that WALL-E is the best movie out of all the Pixar movies, but I didn't put it at number 1 because it's not the one I enjoy most. I was making my list of more of the ones I enjoy, but I think WALL-E is one of the best movies ever.
I can respect that. Now I put Toy Story 1, the first Toy Story.
The original Toy Story.
It's such a classic.
Yeah, it is.
It kicked off Pixar's whole movie industry. Without Toy Story 1,
and it was like
we wouldn't have anything else.
Yeah, it was like one of the first 3D animated movies ever.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think it was the first feature length 3D animated film ever.
Mm-hmm. And as I said earlier, Woody and Buzz, second best dynamic duo.
Yeah,
like they're hilarious together, and they kind of follow the same recipe, I guess, for these characters. Woody is like, he's super logical, and he always he's got rules. But Buzz
kind of crazy and wild,
and
thinks he's not a toy.
He's an astronaut. That's hilarious to me.
Here's the weird thing about Toy Story though. If one of the toys died, the owners would never find out, and the other toys would have to watch the owner play with the dead toy's dead body.
Play with his corpse.
Yeah,
that's the darkest
because
thing.
the owner wouldn't know. The owner wouldn't know it's dead.
Oh my gosh,
it's true.
They could never bury him. They couldn't.
They'd be like, "Oh, there's Jim, just laying dead on the floor.
Oh, there's Woody snapped his neck. His corpse is floating around.
You have to drag his dead body somewhere away."
Isn't there a scene where the owner of the toys picks up Woody and Little Bo Peep and makes them kiss?
That is too far. Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Sorry, that's terrible. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you have anything else to say about your number 3 spot?
No.
Okay, good.
So number 2.
Number 2.
No, I put WALL-E as number 2.
Okay. Yeah, I put The Incredibles. Now, what I was saying earlier about, I know you're kind of triggered by that. I was saying earlier about Up, how it's the second best intro to any movie. I think WALL-E has the first best intro ever. The fact that they've spent like the first half an hour with no speaking.
Yeah, that's what I actually put down.
Yeah, with no speaking, and still makes it so relatable and such a good. It's still a better love story than Twilight.
There's hardly any speaking lines in the whole movie, especially in the first hour. And what's really neat is it does it on purpose. Obviously, it's mimicking old timey silent films. That's why, and WALL-E actually watches.
It's not a silent one, but it is an old timey film.
Yeah, that old timey black and white film.
That musical, whatever it is, whichever musical it is.
It's like Singing in the Rain or something like that.
I think it is. Yeah.
I don't know, but it's so. That movie is so artistic.
It's so emotional too. Like the fact that they can get a robot apocalypse movie and turn it into one of the best romances of all time. And
I love like apocalypse themed anything. I love all apocalypse themed stuff. It's such a cool idea. That's
my favorite thing about Pixar. They're so ironic. They get like stereotypes like monsters hiding in your closet or helping the old person cross the street or like,
and they turn it into something amazing.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
It's an amazing modern day love story. It
really is. It's great.
Between robots, but you still feel for them.
I know. Oh,
it's amazing. I don't know. It's really good. I can't say anything bad about WALL-E. I really can't.
Yeah, like I can say it. It's kind of weird when they get to like the ship and there's all the fat people.
Oh yeah, it's super weird, but it's hilarious.
But it's necessary.
And there's so much redemption for humanity at the end.
Yeah. They get back to Earth and they were away from Earth for like so many generations that they forgot what it's like, and they get back and start in a new forest.
Yeah, and going back to the no lines, the fact that you can know so much about Wall-E, the character,
And he's never said a word.
understand so much about his personality and his.
Same with Eve.
Yeah, but they never speak.
I know.
That's
powerful.
That's
good
takes a
storytelling.
lot of skill to portray that, you know, and that's a really well done movie.
And not make it seem boring. Actually, some people do say Wall-E's boring, but I've never seen it as boring. I love it. It's very entertaining.
I mean, it's not like an action-packed kind of movie, except there's that scene towards the end, I think, where the ship is going back and forth because the pilot or the ship itself, the robots don't want the humans to get back to Earth.
Yeah,
but
that's
the
a scary
captain is
villain.
like, no, we gotta get to Earth.
That is a scary villain. That the villain is the ship.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
pretty creepy.
So,
so my number 2 is The Incredibles.
Oh yeah, no, dude.
Yeah.
Number 1 is The Incredibles is by far the best movie that human hands have ever created.
Carter loves The Incredibles. It's a little biased.
If we could talk about any kind of movie, and The Incredibles is my top number 1 movie ever.
Wow.
Dude, it's a family
Monsters,
movie.
Inc. is
yet
still
it's
better.
mature. It has.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say my number 1. It's Monsters Inc. Even though I think we're gonna spend the rest of the stuff probably talking about The Incredibles.
Okay, you could talk about yours a little. I put a lot of notes for The Incredibles.
I didn't put any notes for any of these.
It has so many good messages, like that the family, they're looking out for each other. The trust between Helen and Bob.
That is one of the things I was always surprised about. Like when I was a kid, I didn't get it, but like as I watched it again, it's like, wow, Bob or Helen thinks that he's having an affair. It's like, wow.
There's like so many mature themes in it, but it's still a movie that children can love, and it's not inappropriate or anything like that. It has such a wide audience. Anybody can watch it and love it. Even if you don't like superheroes, it's so good because it doesn't. Mm-hmm. It's not just a superhero.
It's not
movie,
even a superhero movie at all.
movie.
Yeah, it's a family. It's a movie about families overcoming their struggles.
It preaches not to conform to the world and be the person you're meant to be. You know, and it also preaches not to use your talents to the best of your abilities. You know, people. Like Dash, he had to suppress his skills, and everybody hated him because of what he could do. And then towards the end of the movie, he ended up being able to use those powers for betterment of himself and his family and the world, and that's just great. And not to mention that the animation in that movie, especially for its time, is
every
amazing.
Pixar movie is like that.
The
Incredibles,
Pixar movie is.
Or not The Incredibles, in Monsters Inc. They had to animate every single hair on Sully's body,
That's
single
pretty
individual
great.
one. Yeah,
that could make it to my top 2, and that alone.
Yeah, I can't believe
that
you
somebody
put it
did that.
in 5. Yeah, there was one guy's job. Like you imagine talking to somebody like, "Oh, you work for Pixar? That's cool. What do you do?" He's like, "Yeah, I animated every hair on Sully's body."
There's like
wow.
a job posting online that says we need someone to animate one hair over and over and over.
Yeah.
And like I said, and the villain, dude, the villain is so Syndrome. He's such a good villain.
Yeah, he is.
He's not like cheesy.
But what about
he's
Water
kinda
News?
Cheesy, but what about Water News? Put that on a t-shirt.
Or what about Randall?
I don't know, dude. I'm
Monsters
sorry.
Inc. is just it's so good, and it's so funny. It's so clever. Like the scene when they're talking, when Sully and Mike are talking about, they're like in the locker rooms, and he's like, "Do you got any odorant instead of deodorant?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, what do you want? You want a wet dog?" He's like, "How about low tide?" He's like, "No, I got smelly garbage." He's like, "Yeah, I'll take that." It's so funny.
It is pretty funny.
And it's like some of the best dialogue.
You don't think The Incredibles is funny?
Oh, it's very
is
funny.
so funny.
But I think Monsters Inc.'s a little funnier. I gotta say. What about the scene when he Randall pushes Mike against the wall, and he's like, when it turns 12, that means it's lunchtime, which means the scare floor will be painted empty. It's so funny. Oh man.
Do you think
so
the
good.
scare floor was painted at that time?
That would be really funny if you could tell.
Okay, I think we're running out of time.
We went over time. We're very passionate about this one.
So what do you think? What's your favorite Pixar movie, viewers or listeners? That you know ours now, and we will continue to disagree about this because this is serious stuff.
Yeah, this is hard. This was one of the hardest things I've ever done.
It is. Sorry for this that it's being so long, but we own this podcast and we can do whatever stink we want.
Okay, well.
Also, we're getting a lot of suggestions recently, and that's great. Please keep sending us your suggestions.
But we can't do them all.
We can't do them all. Yeah,
It's
but
rough.
we do have an actual list that we are putting these
Your
suggestions
suggestions on. Yeah.
So keep sending them, and we will eventually do them.
We'll keep them
maybe
coming.
one day. But
we're going to run out of ideas eventually, so we'll have to use them.
But we really do need to end this. So thanks for tuning in. Feel free to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Squabble Podcast. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow because it really helps us out. And leave a review on iTunes. That's where you can find us. You can also find us on SoundCloud and YouTube. That's it. We're finally over.
Sorry. Okay, we'll snap you later.
Snap you later, baby.